Hey fan, it's me, Aaron.
Triforce Mike.
Mike got his ass kicked.
Yes.
And this is
I'm Adam. Adam Freeman. I have an exclamation point. They should put that on the screen by there, in my name.
Yes, Atom.
That's right.
Like Captain Atom.
That's right.
Up and at them.
And you might have seen him. He looks familiar. He was on the CBS Sunday Morning Show with
I was.
who was it that was interviewing you? Or?
With Mo Rocca.
Yeah, Mo Rocca. That was awesome. My wife and I watch that every Sunday because we're classy people.
Right.
But you know.
Well, at the time I was still running Brave New World, BraveNewWorldComics.com. I still co-own that. That's with my wife Portland, who now runs it. An incredibly good job at it. So I'm now on ComicCenter.com. We do a live weekly webcast show about the comic book industry. So ComicCenter.com. It's also on GeekWeek.com live every 7:15 Eastern Standard Time or PST every Tuesday.
And the cool thing is, his store won an Eisner.
Yes. And we lost an Eisner.
Yeah.
And we're going on 2 years.
Yeah, this year we're going to lose it again.
Yeah.
Hat trick. Hat trick.
So it's going to be great.
Losers.
And Mike got his ass kicked last Saturday night by a party bus.
Yep.
A bunch of Jersey Shore guys came and just beat him up.
Beat him up.
They walked up and they said, "You got any Eisner winners here?" There's no pound.
I'll win.
It happens. It happens, dude. That bus is going to have some spike strips next time. All right, so starting off this week is insane. They're getting all their stuff out, and that's fine with me. X-Men Schism was brilliant.
Oh my God.
Jason Aaron loves me so much that he sent his only begotten son. No, he gave me this issue in a PDF form about 3 weeks ago, and I freaking loved it.
And I rifled through your inbox and read it.
Who Jason Aaron likes, because I couldn't forward the attachment because I'm dumb. But anyway, Jason Aaron loves Grant Morrison. He brought back Phantom X, who Rick Remender is rocking out in X-Force, and in here he brings back Quentin from Riot at Xavier.
Yes.
And this story is much like Civil War, extremely political.
Yep.
It happens at the UN. The Sentinels are weapons of mass destruction aimed at genocide.
They are.
And
that's true.
There's a lot of great political stuff where all these different nation states secretly have Sentinel programs, the same way, Iran obviously has a nuclear program. And the character that's a foil for Aminadab is like, we have no Sentinel program. Maybe if Cyclops wasn't worried about mysterious giant robots, he'd actually do something for his people. And of course they do have Sentinels. And now there's going to be this huge attack. And which side are you on? Wolverine's side, which is, for some reason, negotiations, or Cyclops' side, which is don't blink and come back with a greater force.
Yeah.
So,
Well, now see, how do you pick then? Because obviously Wolverine's a badass, but
I just wish Wolverine was my dad.
Well, the way I see it, I'm the type of guy to ask forgiveness, not permission. I'm the type of guy, like, I see Wolverine as like, I'm going to do negotiations on the surface while I have X-Force on the down low, killing you in secret. Where Cyclops is like, I am valid and right, and I'm going to, come after you face on and all that, and get Utopia attacked and bombed and destroyed. So, I'm with Wolverine. So
in the partnership that is a comic shop, which of you is Wolverine? And which
I'm
of you is
Wolverine.
does that make Jason Cyclops, or does that make you Cyclops? Or
I think Jason's Magneto.
Jason.
All right. Captain America #1, just in time for the movie.
Yes.
And it's Brubaker, still amazing,
Awesome.
right? Steve McNiven, speaking of Civil War,
Still awesome.
Great guy, and it's just a badass story. It has roots back in World War II, like all great Cap stories have.
And we got Jimmy Jupiter.
Right?
Right? Come on.
Nick Fury's in it, Carter's in it, everybody's in it, and just really cool stuff. And at its heart, it's a love story where Steve Rogers, Captain America, stole some French guy's girlfriend. And
snap.
Damn it, he's going to get revenge.
Yep.
So,
I'm down.
Great stuff.
Stealing from the French.
Fallout, loved it.
Oh, God.
I actually teared up in front of my wife because I was reading in the car of the death of Spider-Man. And just the way it was so poetic.
Well
it was like, I saved you, Aunt May. I failed Ben, but saved. It was just so, I teared up, and now this is, it's all over again. Huge funeral in New York. It's the biggest funeral since, whatever that event was 10 years ago, and when the Ultimate book started, and anyway, that was great.
Yeah,
War of the Green Lantern's finally out. I know it's freaking late, but still, it delivered on all counts. It delivered on all counts, and there is a new Green Lantern 2814. It is jaw-droppingly amazing, and Guy Gardner is still Green Lantern, which was one of the prereqs for me loving it, and It's just insane. Like, don't flip through it because you'll be just you're just gonna be shocked.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh, and this is Aftermath, and of course, if you read it, you saw what happened with Jon Stewart, and Public Enemy got it wrong. You know, there's no fear of a black planet.
Right.
Planets have fear of a black Green Lantern because Jon Stewart is just going around blowing up planets. He's just blowing up planets. You know, it's ridiculous. But
he's actually like exploding planets, or he's going in and starting parties. He's blowing that up.
No, it's like the Death Star.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
well, that's not good.
It's got Death Star.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not as good as the party thing.
Yeah.
4 more tie-ins. And yes, there are so many tie-ins.
There's a lot of tie-ins.
But I'm liking almost all of them. Yeah. Some of the one-shots were so-so, but these books I've been liking, and the customers have been liking, the fans have been liking. The people that like Flashpoint are digging it. So, you know, is there too many or is there not enough? Like, I always thought, if Flashpoint hits, there's going to be, this is fine amount of tie-ins. Because, you know, and the bottom line is it's all great creators on it too.
Right, exactly. They're using the opportunity to bring up some guys that get a lot of great press in the indie world and give them a good shot at doing a superhero thing.
And I think the people complaining, they're just poor.
Right. Or, you know, the people that aren't even buying Flashpoint anyway, so of course they're not going to buy the tie-ins.
Right.
But, you know, you never know what people's motivation is to complain on the internet.
They're poor.
But
it's the comic book equivalent of I couldn't go get a job because there was a Babylon 5 marathon today.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's the comic book equivalent of that.
The bottom line, though, is I've been really enjoying the Flashpoint tie-ins, and they've been delivering. If anyone read the Batman one last week, it was awesome.
Oh, God.
It's just super compressed, lots of crazy reveals, and just swinging for the fences, just going all out.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is Red Wing.
Yes.
Indie Book of the Week, Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman, you are the man. I've loved you since Nightly News.
Yeah.
I've told you this in person. I probably creeped you out. But here's the coolest thing. You're doing all these mainstream things. You're a Marvel architect. You have the FF. You have all these things selling really well, but you're still going back and doing indie stuff. You're still going back and doing a 4-issue mini for Image. And it's time travel. It's awesome. He should get an award for best time travel writer in all of comics.
They're actually doing an Eisner for that this year.
Well, he should win it. He should win it. And Red Wing was just brilliant. It's Mayan stuff, future stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Awesome.
It felt like an old Jonathan Hickman book. You know, I missed the Jonathan Hickman art. You know, it was good stuff.
Yeah, his art was great. It wasn't like a Bendis where it was just like, I just want to get my writing out there, or
or like Brian Wood, who did that sort of crazy design school kind of stuff for Channel Zero.
I saw kind of like DIY punk rock, like the Channel Zero, and that's cool. It's like he was making a fanzine or something.
But he was really, Hickman was. If you have never read Nightly News, geez, go pick that up because he breaks all the rules in that thing.
And Hickman's not a sellout like some of the other architects, like when they were Image and then they go to Marvel, get all their Marvel fame, and then they start Icon.
Like who? Like who would that
Bendis on Powers and Fraction on
Fraction a sellout?
No, he's an amazing gentleman, but no, I don't know. I just have to give something for Bleeding Cool to put in the headline.
That's right, exactly. Give Rick something.
So anyway, you're up in all the comic industry stuff.
Yes.
What are some of the books you're most excited about coming up in the near future?
Well, everybody is watching the new 52, and that's what I think the most fascinating story of the year is how not only fans are reacting, but how stores are reacting. It's industry-wide. I think it's one of those things that's going to change the entire comic book industry in one form or another. It gives DC an opportunity to get ahead of a lot of things that they've been chasing Marvel and others on. So I think as far as it goes, I've been looking forward, as a fan, I've been looking forward to books like Red Wing, but I think as far as like industry stuff goes, I think that is probably the single biggest story of the year. And Marvel still hasn't really announced what their reaction to that is going to be. And so I'm finding it really fascinating to watch how everyone is positioning themselves around that announcement and how they're going to change.
Marvel was always like, we're the house of ideas, we're the edgy people, we're the ones with less continuity, we're the ones more, in line with the cultural zeitgeist, all this stuff. And like, how do they be like, well, we're legacy numbering and legacy and stodgy old, like how do they respond to that as a company?
Well, and the thing is that, one of the reasons that the comic book industry has been so stable is because of that stability at DC. They have chosen not to, while Marvel would go off on these big tangents that could have taken us off. Yeah, exactly. Things like Heroes World could have just broken the entire industry to the ground, but DC said, no, we are the establishment. We're here to make certain that the trains
and
run
always
on time.
be number 2.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so now they have this DC new executive team, and they're getting pressure from Warner Brothers, who's actually paying attention now.
Right.
You know, it's not always been the case, and so they are now under some pressure to make things happen and actually find that #1 again. For whatever that's worth. I don't know what that kind of money that's worth to them, but so they said, well, fine, if we're going to do it, we're going to go all in. We're going to put all of our ideas in 1 month. We're going to change everything. And what are you doing there?
He's pulling out the Subway. Yeah. Wait, dude, I'm going to order that Subway graphic novel when they collect it all. It's going to be great.
So I think that's the story. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing how that happens. And I've actually been interviewing a lot of retailers. I'm going to be talking to you guys here in a little bit.
Sweet.
For the show.
Video.
But I'm doing these interviews with different retailers. I'll be in San Diego. I'll be interviewing digital providers and creators and just talking about what the future looks like. Because the future of the comic book industry it's weird. It's weird. I've been doing this.
It's exciting, though.
It is exciting,
Yeah.
but I've been doing this for 15 years, and I have no idea what the next 5 years is going to look like.
Yeah.
I couldn't say that 10 years
So
ago.
is it a good time to get out, a good time to get in, a good time to...
I don't know. It's a good question. I think it's a good time to be in. I think it's a good time to watch what the change is going to be and react to it. I think it's a good time to try new things. You know, a lot of people who have been in this industry for so long have been doing things the same way every single month. In stores like you guys, I mean, I walk in here and it's hard to judge you based on the standard of other comic shops because you do things so differently. And I think it's a good time for doing things differently because you get a chance to be nimble.
Right.
And that nimbility allows you to change up as the rules change. Whereas guys who are more established and have been doing things the same way successfully for decades in some cases.
Mike changes up all the time. I mean, he'll do a 3-0 with 2 girls, a 3-0 with 2 guys.
That's-
He
that's
doesn't
true.
care.
And to answer
Very nimble.
your question
Flexibility.
earlier, who am I?
Yeah.
I'm docking.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That
See?
nimbility.
Right.
I don't know if that's actually a word, but I'm coining it
You
right
should
now.
coin it.
So yeah, I think that's the real interesting time. I think it's going to be good for people in the comic book industry because people are paying attention, and it looks there are a lot of people
are definitely paying attention to Bleeding Cool. Like when that announcement came out, like the site went to a white screen of death several times. When I was just like refresh.
F5.
So
And I wonder how much of that was because of Bleeding Cool. I think Bleeding Cool has a big effect on how the comic book industry works now because, you know, Rich does such a good job of finding those stories early. Even though he doesn't call himself a journalist, he does some of those journalistic, you know, legwork. And I think that because of that, he kind of forces their hand. So a lot of what DC has been doing feels like they made the announcement too early and are trying to catch up to it.
Right.
So I wonder how much of that is because of Bleeding Cool. It's interesting. It's like I said, all the players right now on the board it's a fascinating time to watch them move around. And that's what our show is about. Our show, ComicCenter.com, if I didn't say that already, is about watching how those pieces move and how people are reacting to those pieces moving. So,
nice.
there you go.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Buy your comics.
Please do.